Hi guys, hope all is well. I'm going to do a video about US30. I've been trading it this week. It's actually been quite all right, to be fair. I've traded it a couple of times. I've never really looked at it too much, to be honest with you. But there was some quite nice steps, and I did want to kind of just back test and kind of see how things went. And it went pretty good. So US30 overall, you can see we're bullish, but intermediate structures we are kind of bearish at the moment. Even if we just take a stab in on the weekly, let's just go complete top to bottom. So you can see where our discounted prices or equilibrium, 50%, whatever you want to call it, is in line with demand. So equally, I mean, this is a heck of a long way down, and I'm not calling shots because this is on the weekly, so anything can happen. But we do know that there is this weekly demand, and I've just spotted as well, we do have relatively equal lows. So I could high time frame see this thing kind of push to potentially go long with rising interest rates and things like that from the Fed statement. The US interest rates are expected to rise, and this will cause the Dow Jones to go short and the dollar to strength. So if interest rates are still rising, this means that Dow Jones could take actually quite a big bit of a hit. So that's the weekly high time frame. That's what we're looking at. Daily, you can see we've just been really nice trend going down. We did have somewhat, in my opinion, it kind of was like a little bit of a breaker structure. But I do think this is equally just a pocket of liquidity which was just needed to be ran because they had these highs and they had these highs as well. And price did actually come into a 3-week zone in here, 3-week supply zone. So what I am looking for is to see if we could probably just get some more bearish movement. And I think this probably kind of could die off a little bit. Going to the daily, you can see we are in this, oh, sorry. On the daily, you can see we are in this daily zone, daily demand zone at this current point. So I really probably think this is probably just going to break through it. So let's keep dropping it down. So you can see there are quite a few different areas of demand in here, but price is really just kind of taking a massive dive. So I could definitely see price just really kind of rolling up at this current point. We do have a 4-hourly demand zone just in here, but really and truly, I feel like every one of these points you're going to have some sort of reaction. Whether price is going to come in here, we come up a bit, and then we come down even, sorry, not that far down. If price comes into here, we get some more reactions, and then we just come down. So it could probably just keep distributing all the way down. But for today, it's been a hell of a day. It's just been mad. But just going into the beginning of the week, we had already had the bias that price was needed to come down. I did actually, in fact, look to see if price was potentially going to come up into like a weekly area, or I thought we was going to at least come and fill this gap. Let's go down. So you can see we do have this gap here. So this was basically going into a market open price gap, and then we kind of just really died off from here. So you can see like the transitions throughout the week. So this is why I like to have my days of the weeks on here, just so you can kind of like really see like the market and how it moves. Because I've noticed not all the time, but some of the time you'll have your beginning of the week price come down into Tuesday, Wednesday, then going into the last like Thursday, Friday, you kind of have like that rollover, or equally if price is going up, you kind of have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then going into Thursday and blah blah blah. So this is quite helpful to see, but I did think we were going to go long into this area. At first I thought we were going to do it, and then we had the speech today, so that kind of really, as you can see, has made things die off. So overall, let's kind of look into what I was looking for before. Okay, cool. So price had come in, and this had wicked I think it's like a 3-minute all the way down in here. As you can see, we just had slight equal lows, and then we continued. So I've noticed that price had created, or we had came in and tested whatever price needed to, and lower time frame, I was kind of looking at this as a bit more of like a shift. We were like super bearish, but you can see that this was our Asian low going to London open, so 5 a.m. This is kind of like the main, and then we manipulate that going into London, and then price continued, and we broke out of the supply. Yeah, the supply in here. So for me, that was a shift. So I was thinking, okay, cool. Let's see if price can come down to this area, because you can see there was a small test here, and this was our last unmitigated zone. I believe you can see it better on a 10-minute. Yeah, okay, cool. So on this 10-minute, so really and truly, I kind of just saw my break structure. We'd obviously tested something important here, and I still had the bias that price was potentially needing to come up and give us some sort of retracement, because it was all bearish at the beginning of the week. I thought that price would have at least came in and done something. We did have some highs in here, which I was actually looking for a target as well. So it was pretty much just a simple case of a place an order, waiting to see what it was. It was literally right at the open. There we go. And then stop loss just below the low. So I've noticed on the US30, just from when I've been doing it, I did have another small trade. I forgot why this was now. I even think it was maybe this one, to be honest with you. But I'd had this trade in here, and obviously it says 39 pips, and I use like a super small lot size just to kind of see how it went. And after doing like a bit of the math, even though it says 39, if we just go to 40, this is actually only 4 pips. So even if you go into like a 0.10, this is only going to be potentially like $4 you're risking. So that's kind of how I viewed it. I have had a look online on how you do like risk and things. I didn't really understand it, so I just thought I'm just going to try it. So I tried it, and that's what happened. Okay, cool. So after I'd kind of figured out my lot sizes and things, we had this trade, and as soon as price was coming into here, we kind of shifted a little bit more. And this, for me as well, I was thinking, okay, cool. I want to see a reaction off this zone in here. And that's what I did. Place another trade off here using a slightly bigger lot size, because my risk on this was 3 pips. So I was risking only 3 pips on this trade. So this risk reward, this was a 1 to 10, and this was a 1 to 8. So you can see price kind of really kind of took a bit of a move, took a stronger move from that, which is really nice to see. Where are we? Yeah, took a really nice move from here. This was obviously giving me a pretty strong sign that price is looking to go bullish. There was another 5-minute in here, which I actually took a trade from. So carrying this on. So even you can see just following like the mitigation trail is so simple. And I think I even used a fib on this. Yeah. So you can see the fib lined up really nicely with this demand. And it's literally just waiting for price to break structure and test the areas of where it come from. And as soon as you can kind of get the grasp of it and just kind of take it steady, then it's actually a lot more simpler than people make it out to be. So prices come in, and I had this high as my target. You can see this is a 920 high. So this is basically London high. You can see this area took out this Asian range. So we had this London high that I was kind of waiting to see if we were going to get that. Going in through Asian range in here, price came up, and then I woke up and it basically just hit my target. I was like, okay, cool. So price come up, hit my target, and then we kind of had like a bit of a strong sell off down, and then price created this candle, which for me, this is very much like a strong like sell to buy movement. So we had this high up here. We do have a small distribution in here, and this area tested a 30-minute. So going down, we had a nice reaction off this 30-minute candle. We had a nice distribution. Price came all the way back down, and we basically just came down and tested where I was looking to enter. But if we go on a higher time frame, there's this whole area which is just demand. 30 minutes. do this at 20 minutes. All of this tested the same thing. You can see we had a mitigation of this sell movement before this buy. This is our bulk. This is our whole demand area. We can take that across and you can see price even came in all the way down there and we just swept these lows in here. So I'd kind of had the feeling, or well, not the feeling, I could see that it was just manipulation. And then we had a super strong move back up. Where are we? We had a super strong move back up, just took this high. This is intent. This doesn't really mean anything in the trading world. This is just for me. I can see prices given like a trying to move its intent. So when I was looking at this, it wasn't really a break. We just took the high, but price was like attempting to kind of break through it. So I was like, okay, cool. We had our so price came down, and then we had like a really strong impulsive move back up. So I said, okay, cool. Let's see if we can do so. What time frame was it on? Yeah. So we had this kind of strong sell to buy movement. I think you can even see it there on the 15. Yeah, even here. So you can see we had like a strong sell to buy. We had imbalance that needed to be filled in here. You can see we did get a test. I think we pretty much on 80%. Well, okay, yeah. So you can see price came in and we tested the 50% of that. Really nice. Let's go back. So there was a 5-minute area that I was looking for just in here. I was actually looking as well, I can't lie, off a 1-minute zone, which is in here. You can see that literally just got liquidated. I had an order in here. Price just missed it. We came in, we created more liquidity in the form of lows in here, people buying off this little trend line. And from here, you can see really nice 5-minute, super small imbalance. We had liquidity resting on the top side as well. Entries, my stop loss, just 4 pips or less than 4 pips, and then carried this back up into this original high, because if this is a distribution, I usually like to see 1, 2, 3 or more to actually head back down. And considering we had this high and this one didn't get taken, and we do have this which was a little bit unfilled, and we had a 15-minute zone, but soon as price kind of broke for this 15-minute, I was kind of like, okay, cool, I think we're just going to take out the high. And you can see price just took out these highs, which is at the top here. So targets hit on that one. Cool. Moving it along, we came into the Asian session, but before that, we did have this 30-minute zone, which I was actually looking to see if we were actually going to get some buys from. So what I originally had in mind is I thought we'd create this high. I thought price was going to come down. There was a 5-minute supply zone just because this was a breaker structure. I'll show you now. I thought we were going to come down into this 30-minute and then have that ride higher. We didn't get that. I'll show you what I was talking about now. So technically, I kind of know why it didn't, and I'll explain why now. So yes, we had this breaker structure here and price actually came down loads. And we were looking I was just looking for the area that caused that break. But the one thing, which is why I took a lot, it wasn't even a massive loss, about like less than 3 pips. So it's amazing. So when we had this high that was spotted, I kind of had the idea that price was probably just going to run this high because none of this Asian high had been taken. We did have like a test of something in here, but nothing really too crazy. So I did have at the back of my head, I was like, I wasn't really too confident, but I did just want to kind of have a look to see what was going to happen with it. Price came up, price mooned, and I thought we were going to come up and at least fill some of this imbalance, or if we were going to trade. Oh, we even did. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you can see where we had our previous supply zone, prices came in and tested this area. So this is obviously a nice area. I'm not going to say support and resistance. It kind of is, it's kind of not, but I don't trade support and resistance. But you can see we came in and we filled this imbalance. We start to fill some of this imbalance and we literally just took this high as well. Price kind of took an immediate shortcut back to the downside. Now, we did have a speech earlier today, which was going to impact the US30. So we had quite a strong sell-off, and we had, again, price consolidated. I thought, and I would have liked to have seen these highs get taken. It didn't. I'm only still kind of new to trading this, so sometimes, well, not all the time, but when I like to trade, I like to see like a consolidation, a manipulation of something that tests something else, and then a continuation back down. But we didn't actually get that, and price kind of just sold off. And I know some pairs don't always do that straight away. So that is something to bear in mind. So sometimes I wait for something that doesn't actually always happen. So it's what it is. Best to be safe than sorry. So after we had this strong down move, it was actually on a 15-minute. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to see if price is, this is before price kind of wicked up quite a lot. But I still had the intent that prices were going to come back down lower just because of the speech and the results of the speech with the interest rates rising. So I was expecting bearish movement fundamentally anyway. So I wanted to see if we were going to just fill this imbalance, in here from this wick when it closed. Price came up. I actually jumped on the lower time frame. Yeah, price came up. And you can see we actually came in and tested also a 5-minute level of supply. This supply was the one that caused this big strong move down. So we tested the supply zone. After we tested the supply zone, this was here. Price came down, we come up, we started filling this a little bit. And I kind of just went for it, to be honest with you. Everything was lining up. Volatility was kind of kicking in. The news was kind of coming out. We'd already broken structures. We'd already tested our 5-minute demand supply zone. We'd already filled back in and filled some little bit of imbalance in here. And I just kind of had the idea that price was just going to roll over again, like it rolled over here. So you can see there wasn't kind of no sweep here. So sometimes when you trade like the way we do, you kind of expect there to be a rage when sometimes there isn't at that moment. So I literally had a super tight stop. I literally just had it above. I did post in the chat. It wasn't actually a 19. I apologize. Yeah, it wasn't this high I was using. It was actually this high that I was using. So it was still a 1 to 13. So I literally just, as price was kind of rolling over, I literally just put my stops above the high. And my target was this original low, because this is just our single wick low now. What time was this? This is 8 a.m. So as if you guys don't know about session times and things, it's something that I highly recommend using. You can see we had 8 a.m. London low, which was our target. So looking at actual like session highs and sessions lows, again, you can see here, this is London open kind of 9 o'clock. Price came in, we took that back out. So looking at like different ranges, looking at different areas of manipulation and things. So it is kind of really useful to have in mind. So that was US30. That was how I was trading it this week. It was actually quite enjoyable. I will do some analysis on this a bit later, but I do think we could probably just head down, whether going into like Monday, Tuesday, it's going to be like a slow day. I have no idea. So we will kind of just see what happens. I'm going to be quite interested to see. So if you guys got any questions, please let me know. Feel free to fire away and I'll help you as much as I can. All right, guys.